On a cold November morning in 1993, two mothers woke up to something that felt wrong. Not terrifying yet, not fully formed, just wrong. Janice Benson noticed her 20-year-old son, Bryan, wasn't in his bed. That alone was enough to unsettle her. Bryan was dependable, thoughtful. He never stayed out without calling. Across town in Warminster, Bonnie Youngers opened her microwave to find the dinner she'd left for her son, Seann Campbell, untouched. His bed hadn't been slept in either. But Seann had done this before. She made a mental note to remind him, again, to call home next time. Both women got dressed. Both went to work. Neither knew they were already living the worst day of their lives. Janice Benson began calling Bryan's friends when she arrived at her office. No one had seen him. No one had heard from him. Then she noticed a police car pulling up outside the building. She didn't need to be told. "I knew something bad had happened," she would later say. Bonnie Youngers was led into a conference room by her boss. She assumed she was being laid off. She told him she understood. It was okay. Then she saw her husband, her pastor, a police officer. Bryan and Seann both worked part-time at the West Coast video store in the Rosemore Shopping Center on County Line Road. On the night of November 9, 1993, they were scheduled to work the 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. shift. Bryan wasn't even supposed to be there that night. He had stopped by the store thinking he was scheduled. The manager asked if he could stay. Bryan agreed. A decision his mother later said was a typical Bryan thing. At around 10 p.m., shortly before closing, the two young men were attacked in the adult movie section of the store. The killers, police believe there was more than one, used long-bladed knives, stabbing Bryan and Seann repeatedly in the back, neck, and chest. The men fought back. Autopsy reports later showed defensive wounds on their forearms, proof that they struggled, that they tried to survive. But they never stood a chance. When police arrived the next morning, they found a scene that made little sense. The front door was unlocked and ajar. There were no signs of forced entry. About $300 was missing from the register. But hundreds of dollars were left behind. Both men's wallets were untouched. The murder weapons were never found. The store's security camera wire had been cut, but the camera wasn't even operational during business hours. It only activated after the store was locked. The killings didn't look like a robbery. They didn't look random. They looked personal. But investigators couldn't find a reason why. Blue ribbons appeared everywhere. Tied to trees, taped to windows, pinned to jackets. Vigils were held. Businesses and residents raised a $52,000 reward, which still sits unclaimed decades later. 8 Warminster police officers worked the case, interviewing more than 300 people, including all 75 customers who rented movies during the shift that night. Nothing came of it. No solid leads. No suspects. No arrests. 4 months after the murders, authorities announced what they believed was their most promising piece of evidence. A half-inch fake diamond stud earring found on the floor between the bodies. It had fresh blood and tissue on it. Investigators believe it may have been torn from an attacker's ear during the struggle. A DNA sample was obtained. To this day, it has never been matched. Over the years, the case produced brief flashes of hope, all of them fading. In 1995, a jailhouse informant claimed a fellow inmate had confessed. Police quickly determined it was a lie. In 1997, a rusted knife was found behind the shopping center. It was tested. Nothing. Investigators explored whether the murders were connected to a similar killing at a New Jersey video store a week later. They weren't. The investigation stalled. The blue ribbons disappeared. Life went on. Bryan Benson and Seann Campbell were ordinary young men. They lived with their parents, within walking distance of the store. They went to the same high school. Shared friends. Normal dreams. Bryan attended Bucks County Community College. Seann worked full-time at Sylvan Pools and had been at West Coast Video for 6 years. Bryan's father, Gary Benson, was the last person to see them alive. He stopped by the store around 9 p.m. Everything seemed normal. That moment haunted him for the rest of his life. That is what he has had to deal with for 20 years. If I never find out who did it, that is okay. Someone knows what happened in that video store. Someone walked away covered in blood. Someone has lived with that secret for over 30 years. And two mothers who still wake up every November knowing that somewhere, the truth is still out there, waiting to be spoken.